Hi guys, my name is Monastery, and in this video we're gonna take a look at the new episode Echoes weapons and the reprised Season of the Dawn weapons that we have so far. So please keep in mind that you can craft these weapons. You will need to get 5 patterns for every weapon to unlock them. Once you have them unlocked, you can enhance the perks once they're on level 16 to 18. So I will be recommending you the normal rolls that you can get out of the activity, and I will also give you the best rolls you can craft and enhance. So let's dive right into detail and start with the first weapon. The first weapon is gonna be Lost Signal. It is a legendary stasis kinetic grenade launcher that has a new archetype called Area Denial Frame. It shoots a burst fire grenade, and each projectile creates a lingering pool on impact that deals damage over time. This weapon kind of acts like a wither horde, as you can see in the background gameplay right now. But the thing is, it does not as much damage as a wither horde in total. So the first two things you would definitely want is quick launch and high velocity rounds with a velocity masterwork, because this way you will max out velocity and blast radius to both 100. In the third column, two perks that are pretty much amazing are auto-loading holster and lead from gold. Auto-loading holster because you just throw the weapon, give it a bit, and it will just auto-reload. You can pull it out and just immediately shoot and create new pools again. And why lead from gold? Because lead from gold is just super amazing for ammo economy, because as soon as you pick up one heavy brick, you will get 25% of your special ammo back with the base version. And if you enhance it, it's gonna go up to 35% of your special ammo. But if you choose auto-loading holster, I don't really know if you have to enhance this perk, because it will only increase it by 0.2 seconds of reduced time to activate the perk to reload the weapon. So I don't know if it's really worth it going from 2.5 seconds down to 2.3 seconds, but it's up to you. If you really think it makes that much difference, you can enhance it. If not, that's also okay. In the fourth column, we have definitely Demolitionist, then the new perk called Reverberation. I don't think Vorpal Weapon will be a good trade. Maybe you could also pick out One for All or even Unrelenting and Wellspring. Alright, so the first perk in the fourth column is going to be Demolitionist that we're going to talk about, because as soon as you get a kill with this weapon, you get 10% of your grenade energy back, and you can also refill your magazine every 3 seconds if you throw a grenade. Once you enhance it, the only thing that changes is that you will be getting 11% instead of 10% grenade ability per kill. So the next perk is going to be Reverberation. Final blows with this weapon increase the size of its detonation for a short duration. This perk is pretty much made for the origin trait of this weapon called Radiolaria Transposer. Rapid final blows cause targets to explode into a pool of radiolarian fluid. There's not that much known about this perk yet and about the origin trait, so it might be worth picking up, maybe not, but there's also no information yet on what the enhanced version does, so maybe for now you'll stick with a different perk unless you know what it does. The next perk in the fourth column is going to be Vorpal Weapon. That might be good, but since I don't think this is going to be a boss damaging weapon, maybe you can get it to proc bait and switch with this. Other than that, I don't really think Vorpal Weapon has a good place on this weapon. The next perk is going to be Unrelenting, which will pretty much just give you health back once you reach 100% activation. Minor kills will give you 33%, player kills 66%, bosses and major kills give you 100% activation progress. Once you hit the 100%, you will get 65 HP and your health regeneration starts. So this might be a good perk if you want to have some survivability in certain situations. And if you enhance it, it will change the numbers from 65 HP to 70 HP. So that might also be a perk you might want to pick up. So the next perk we're going to talk about is going to be Wellspring, because on weapon kill you grant 8% ability energy that is split equally amongst all uncharged abilities. This is pretty much like Demolitionist, but just for all abilities. And once you enhance it, it goes up from 8 to 9%. So this might be a really good perk for in general ability play if you want to have a lot of abilities up and you can kill a lot of enemies fast with this weapon. But the next weapon we're going to talk about is going to be Sightline Survey. This is a legendary arc energy hand cannon that is 180 rounds per minute. In the first option, I would either choose Chambered Compensator or Arrowhead Break personally. And in the second column, you would either go with Accurized rounds or Alloy magazine. And in the third column, we have Keep Away, Triple Tap, which might be nice, Enlightened Action, and even maybe something like Strategist. In the fourth column, we have Volt Shot, which is nice, Precision Instrument, and Desperate Measures. So let's go over what the perks do. Keep Away is pretty nice because if there is no enemy within 50 meters, you get 10 range, 30 reload speed, and decrease accuracy cone by 5%. Once you enhance this perk, the only thing that changes is the reload speed from 30 to 35. So the next perk I wanted to talk about is going to be Triple Tap, because scoring 3 precision hits within 2 seconds of each refills 1 ammo in the magazine from thin air. This might be very good with the exotic armor piece called Lucky Pants for the hunter, because as we've seen, there's a lot of 180 rounds per minute hand cannons that are very good with it. Once you enhance this perk, it goes up from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, so it's just easier to hit and you have a bit more time in between the shot. The next perk we're going to talk about is going to be Enlightened Action, which weapon hits grants stack of Enlightened Actions for 2 seconds and it stacks up to 12 times. It goes from 2 up to 50 handling and reload speed. And once you enhance it, you can get the max stacks up to 55 instead of 50. Okay, so in the fourth column, we're immediately going to talk about Volt Shot, because finishing a reload within 5.3 seconds of a weapon kill grants Volt Shot for 7 seconds. This is pretty much when you hit the next shot, it applies Jolt to the enemy and it will just light up the whole room and just chain kill all enemies around that one target you hit. Once you enhance it, the perk goes from 7 seconds of time of Volt Shot up to 8 seconds. Okay, so the next perk is going to be Precision Instruments, where precision hits give you a stacking buff that goes up to 6 stacks, and once you hit 6 stacks, it's a 25% damage increase for precision hits. This is probably pretty good paired with triple tap, because you will just get your ammo back and you just can keep shooting. Also, you can probably pair this with the exotic armor piece Lucky Pants on Hunter, so you just get a lot of precision damage, get your ammo back. So this will be a very good perk. Once you enhance this perk will go up to 30% damage buff on precision hits on the max stacks, on the 6 stacks, so this will be pretty good. So the last perk in the fourth column would be Desperate Measures, where weapon kills give you 10% increase in damage for 7 seconds. Grenade or melee kills give you a 20% increase in damage for 7 seconds times 2, and scoring another grenade or melee kill will give you 30% by 3 times. When this buff is active, it can be stowed, and weapon kills refresh the buff duration. Alright, so the next weapon we're going to talk about is the Timeworn Wayfarer. This is a legendary solar energy scout rifle with 120 rounds per minute aggressive frame. Alright, so on this scout rifle we have a lot of good rolls. In the first column, definitely again I would want to go for Chamber Compensator or Arrowhead Break, and in the second row either Accurize, Appendant Mag or Alloy Magazine. Then next, Heal Clip is nice. We have something like Fourth Time the Charm, we have Keep Away, we have Shoot to Loot, which is a really nice perk, and in the fourth column we have Desperate Measures, we have also Incandescent, which is super nice, and probably the last perk in the fourth column is gonna be Precision Instrument. Okay, so in the fourth column, as I said, Heal Clip is pretty nice, because after you finish a reload within 5.3 seconds of getting a kill, you grant Cure times 2 to yourself, which is 120 HP if I'm not wrong, and Cure times 1, which is just 60 HP to allies within 50 meters. So the next perk I want to talk about is gonna be Fourth Time the Charm, because that will just reload your weapon whenever you hit 4 precision hits within 2 seconds and refill the magazine by 2 out of thin air, which is pretty nice. And once you inherit that perk, it goes up from 2 seconds to 3 seconds in between the 4 shots. The next perk is gonna be Keep Away, because this is obviously a scout rifle, so you want to be far away, and as soon as there's no enemies within 50 meters, you get the 10 range, 30 reload speed, and 35 reload speed once it's enhanced. And the last perk is pretty nice for ammo economy. It will be Shoot to Loot, because shooting an orb of power or a ammo break will just pretty much pick it up and automatically reload all your weapons from reserves. Once you enhance that perk, it just gives you a +5 range. Coming to the fourth column, as before I said, we got Desperate Measures, which is just a 10% increase in damage for 7 seconds, 20 if you get a grenade kill, and 30 if you get a second grenade or melee kill. The next perk I'm going to talk about is going to be Incandescent, because as soon as you kill an enemy, you will spread 30 Scorch Stacks or 40 with Ember of Ashes in a radius of 4 meters, and once you enhance this weapon, it will be 45 with Ember of Ashes. With this perk, you can just kill a lot of enemies very fast and just clear rooms pretty fast, because you can also cause ignitions once you reach 100 Scorch Stacks, so this is a pretty good perk. The next perk we're gonna talk about is going to be Precision Instrument, which is pretty nice to pair with Fourth Time the Charm, because you reload both, you can just keep shooting the whole time, you get the 25 or 30% damage increase to precision damage whenever you get the 6 stacks, so this is just all around a pretty good combo. Other than that, I don't really see no other combinations you could do on this weapon, so for this weapon it's going to be Precision Instrument and Fourth Time the Charm, or Heal Clip Incandescent. You could also go for something like Shoot to Loot with Precision Instrument if you want to do some precision damage, but also want to loot somewhere far far away, so this could also be a very good combo. Alright, the next weapon I want to talk about is called Faithkeeper. It is a legendary void rocket launcher that is a precision frame archetype. In the first column you definitely want to go with hard launch, and in the second column you want to get impact casing. In the third column you could definitely go for something like auto loading holster, which just reloads your weapon after 2.5 seconds, and if enhanced it goes down to 2.3 seconds. The next perk I want to talk about is gonna be clone cartridge, because that way you will have 2 shots in your magazine, which is just insanely good for DPS. And if you want to get some reload speed and more reserves, you could go with something like field prep, because once you crouch you get 50% more reload speed, which is pretty nice to have, and you will also get more reserves, which is also pretty good. Enhanced field prep is also pretty good because it will increase the reload speed by 5 and will increase the inventory size stat 40, which is pretty much equivalent to 2 reserve armor mods. Once you improve clown cartridge, it improves the average overfill amount by 10% from 30 to 33%. In the fourth column we also have a few interesting perks. We have something like bipod, which would pretty much give you 2 rockets off the start, so I think you could overload it to 4 rockets maybe, or 3 rockets with clown cartridge, which would be pretty nice to have. And we would have explosive light, which is also pretty nice because you get that increase in damage with 6 stacks going up to 60% increased explosive damage, which is pretty nice. Then the lasting impression, which passively grants 50 blast radius, which is pretty nice because you can just shoot the rocket, shoot some other weapons, go back to the rocket, shoot the rocket again, shoot some other rockets, let it explode. It's pretty nice of a combo, so that will be also working pretty well. And the last perk that I want to talk about in the fourth column is Frenzy, because being in combat for 12 seconds grants you 15% damage, 100 handling, 100 reload for 7.2 seconds. All of these perks are obviously enhanceable, and all of these perks are pretty good to be enhanced, but the role I will probably go with, the role I will be going with is going to be clown cartridge with something like bipod or even explosive light, because I just want to have a lot of damage pretty fast. I like having short burst damage, which is pretty much perfect with a rocket launcher. Alright, let's get to the next heavy weapon that is also new. It is called Ill Omen. It is a legendary stasis sword, which is a caster frame. In the first 2 columns you probably go with 2 perks that you always go with. As the sword option you will go with Jagged Edge, and as the guard option probably Swordmaster's Guard, because those 2 perks are the best you can probably go with at swords. In the third column I would probably go with Relentless Strike, because that is pretty much the best perk you can go with, because you gain 1 ammo after scoring 3 powered hits within 2 seconds, and once you enhance it, the only thing it does, it is the time between the allowed hits is increased. In the fourth column we have a few good perks. The first one I want to talk about is probably going to be Whirlwind Blade, which is pretty nice because if you hit the enemy within 3.5 seconds you can stack up to 10 times and get a 30% damage buff. If you enhance that, it goes up to 4 seconds instead of 3.5 seconds, which is still okay and it's just better, so just if you get it, enhance that. The next perk I want to talk about is Surrounded, because if there's 3 enemies within 50 meters you will usually get a 40% damage increase, but with swords you will get a 35% damage increase. So this will linger for 1.5 seconds after there's no more enemies around. If you enhance this, this will just pretty much increase the damage for swords up to 42%, and if it wouldn't be a sword to 47%, but since it's a sword we will only get the 42% damage buff. So the last perk I would want to talk about would be Vorpal Weapon, but since we have Whirlwind Blade, which needs to stack up first to get to the 30% to be good, Vorpal Weapon is an always 10% damage increase, so this might be good, and it also passively grants 5 stability and guard resistance once you enhance it. But I usually would rather go with something like Relentless Strike and Surrounded if it's possible to proc Surrounded, and Whirlwind Blade if it's not possible to stack Surrounded. So the last weapon that is new with Episode of Echoes is the Veiled Threat Rapid Fire Frame Legendary Stasis Kinetic Auto Rifle. In the first 2 columns, as always, I personally like to go with Arrowhead Break or Chambered Compensator, and then the second one I like Accuraz Round, a Pendant Mag, and Alloy Magazine. For this auto rifle in the first column, personally I would go with Shoot to Loot, because weapon hits against Orbs of Power collect them, same with like ammo bricks like Special and Heavy. This is just super nice to just pick up ammo from far away. Enhanced, this will just give you 5 range, so it's not super important to masterwork, but it is definitely a thing you can do. Other than that, you can go with Threat Detector, because Threat Detector will give you 2 stacks stacks, which is whenever there's 2 enemies around you, it will go from 1 stack, from 15 to 40 stability, from 18 to 60 reload, and from 25 to 100 handling. Then in the 4th column, you can pick up things like Headstone, which is pretty nice because on a precision kill, you will spawn a large stasis crystal on the enemy's death, and you can also pick something like Desperate Measures, which will yet again give you the 10% damage increase per weapon kill, then 20 for 1 grenade or melee, and then for the second grenade or melee kill, you will go up to 30%. That will last for 7 seconds. And something is also nice like Surrounded and Threat Detector, because Surrounded will give you that rate 40 to 47 if enhanced damage buff. So personally on this weapon, I will probably go with something like Shoot to Loot and Headstone. So that would be it for the weapons that are new in Episode of Echoes. Let's talk about the reprised Season of the Dawn weapons. One of the most interesting weapons is the Breachlight. This weapon came back as a strand kinetic sidearm. It's a heavy burst archetype which fires a hard-hitting 2-round burst, slightly reduces flinch from incoming fire when aiming. In the first 2 columns, as always, personally I like Arrowhead Break and Chambered Compensator. Then accurized rounds, a pennant mag, and something like alloy magazine is also good. In the 3rd column, we have a few nice perks. First perk I want to talk about is Slice, because the next 5 hits within 8 seconds of using your class ability severs targets on hit. This means they will deal 40% less damage to you, which is really nice in situations where there's a few enemies that do a lot of damage. You can just hit a lot of enemies, sever them, and just let them deal no damage. Once you enhance this perk, this goes up to 9 seconds of activation, so it still has the same amount of hits, but only 9 seconds until it runs out. The next perk I want to talk about is going to be Compulsive Reloader, because while you're above 50% magazine capacity, you will get 50% reload speed. So if you reload a lot after 1 kill, you can just use this perk. It's pretty nice. It's just pretty good always to use. The next perk would be Threat Detector, which is also pretty nice because with a sidearm, you're probably close to enemies, so you will always have the stacks to get all the benefits. You will get the reload speed, you will get the handling, you will get the stability. It's pretty nice to use. The next perks I want to talk about are Pugilist and Demolitionist. Pugilist is nice if you're doing a melee build because it will give you melee ability back exactly 10% per kill, and Demolitionist does the same but just for 10% grenade ability energy. And when you throw a grenade with Demolitionist, it will reload your weapon. So in the 4th column, there are only really 4 perks that I'm really interested in. So the first perk is the Hatchling. Upon scoring a precision kill or 3 kills within 3 seconds with this weapon, there will be a threadling that will be spawning at the enemy's death location, which is pretty nice because you can use the strand subclass and just do a lot of damage with the threadlings, and it's just pretty nice to play into all the like whole strand thing. Next is Swashbuckler, which will give you a damage buff per kill. It goes from 1 to 5 stacks and from 6.7 up to 33.3% on the 5 stacks, which is pretty nice. And if you get a melee kill, you immediately go up to the 5 stacks. Then next we have Adrenaline Junkie, which is pretty much the same thing as Swashbuckler, just for grenade kills. It goes also from 6.7% up to 33.3% on 5 stacks. And also when you get if you get a grenade kill, it will immediately give you the 5 stacks. The last perk would be Desperate Measures. As always, 10% on first kill for 7 seconds, then 20, then 30 on the next 2 grenade or melee kill abilities. Personally, for this weapon, I would probably go with something like Slice and Hatchling because I really like dipping into that strand damage type. It's really nice, but if you want to do like a melee build or a grenade build, this is a really good sidearm if you play close quarters. It hits really hard, and even back then in Season of the Dawn, this was one of my most used sidearms, so I will definitely be going for the sidearm and it will definitely be getting a good roll. Next weapon we're going to talk about is the Patron of Lost Causes. It's a legendary kinetic scout rifle. As always, this weapon goes with Arrowhead Break and Chambered Compensator, accurized rounds, a pendant mag, or alloy magazine. In the 3rd column, you definitely want something like Stats for All that gives you 35 handling and reload speed, 10 stability and rage, and 5 increased damage fall off distance for 3 different enemies that you hit in between 3 seconds. Then you could also go for something like Rapid Hit that will give you stability and reload speed if you hit precision hits. And last but not least, in the 3rd column, the Triple Tap Tap perk, which gives you 1 round back after you hit 3 precision hits in 2 seconds. In the fourth column, you could definitely go for something like Precision Instrument, which will yet again increase your damage to 25% if you hit 6 stacks. You could also go to Kinetic Tremors that will, after 6 shots with the Scout Rifle that you hit on the same enemy, will emit 3 damaging shockwave from its location where you activated it. Then also you could go with something like Vorpal Weapon if you use this weapon against champions. You could also use Explosive Payload because this splits 50% of the weapon's damage, and this will like legit negate the complete damage fall off, so you can snipe enemies from across the map and still do 50% of your damage that you would always do. The role I will personally probably go for will be Rapid Hit with Kinetic Tremors, because I really like Kinetic Tremors and Rapid Hit is just nice for the extra reload speed. And the last weapon from the Season of Dawn reprised weapons is gonna be the Line in the Sand. This is a legendary arc power linear fusion rifle. It is a precision frame, fires a long range precision energy bolt. This weapon is pretty nice, and as always in the first 2 columns we will probably go with Damage Compensator, and then in the second column you could either go with Liquid Coils or Accelerated Coils, and in the third column you could go with something like Clown Cartridge where you would just overfill your magazine. You could also go with Rapid Hit if you want to, because if you hit the precision hits you will get more reload speed. Personally I would probably go with Clown Cartridge. In the fourth column you have Firing Line, which is pretty nice because if there's allies within 50 meters, if there's 2 allies within 50 meters, it will give you a 20% precision damage increase. Then you could also go with something like Bait and Switch, because as soon as all your weapons hit the same target, so your kinetic weapon, your energy weapon, and then your heavy weapon, you will get a 30% damage increase for 10 seconds. The role I will be going for is probably going to be Clown Cartridge and Bait and Switch. Alright, so that would be it for the episode Echoes weapons and the reprised Season of the Dawn. Once Act 2 comes out and Act 3 comes out, I will review the new weapons that we will get in those acts. So please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to your channel to not miss those videos and other build and other guide videos in the future. Thanks for watching this far, and we will see each other next video, Guardian.